welcome back to day 3 of Consensus, live from New York with the Daily Exchange. Right now, I'm joined by Drew Rasmussen. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Of Coinsource. So, Coinsource, you're the largest Bitcoin ATM network in the world.
That's correct.
And you yourself have been involved in Bitcoin space since 2011.
That's correct.
That's pretty long.
Yeah, I've done everything from mining to, we're CPU, GPU, ASICs, to trading, to working on blockchains from the ground up for institutional players, people like NASDAQ, State Street, Overstock T0, and quite a few other banks that I can't really name. They were at a time where banks were saying it's not going to work, but behind closed doors they were contracting with various people.
Oh, interesting. I like that little reveal. So my first question really is, you're the biggest network of Bitcoin ATMs. Why do people need a Bitcoin ATM? Why can't they just go and buy it on an exchange?
That's a good question. I think a lot of people ask that too, because if we think about it yourself, you might think, well, everybody I know has got a bank account. Yeah. They can just go use technology, but that isn't necessarily true. We serve primarily the underbanked, underserved customers who don't necessarily have access to a bank account for whatever reason. And we've also got plans to move outside of that in other countries as well. That isn't always the case. Yeah. That we think of some robust financial system like we have here in the U.S.
So what markets are you kind of operating in then?
So we operate here in the U.S. currently. Mm-hmm. We're also currently we're moving into Argentina. Mm-hmm. We also have various providers who are leveraging our software actually too to go into Canada. We're in talks to go into Japan, South Africa, throughout Europe. So kind of everywhere actually, and even pretty much.
Maybe airdrop an ATM into Venezuela?
There's been discussions of that as well.
Yeah. Because I can imagine these are the places where people have volatile markets or volatile financial structures,
That's correct.
If not hyperinflation. And maybe their bank accounts are actually not even allowed to do certain things or certain transactions are blocked. Is that another sort of use case of the people you're trying to get?
Our machines are, we look at them as just crypto ATMs, but really we look at them as more of a financial services kiosk where we can actually bring in other functionality. So we're probably one of the more sophisticated ATMs out there. So we can bring in things like lending into it. Remittance is actually another thing we're going into.
Into the ATMs?
Yes. Okay. So with our same machine, you'd be able to do that. So someone could put, $100 in here, send it over to Argentina, for example, and be able to withdraw maybe part of that money. Because what's very common is that people want to, for example, in Argentina, a lot of people like to keep it in USD, right? Mm-hmm. US dollars, and then pull out pesos as they need them and do that conversion on the time because inflation's kind of, I think the last year, around close to 50%, in just Argentina.
Yeah, wow. Okay. I now understand why you're going into Argentina next. So, dialing back to your history, so like you said, you've been in the scene since 2011 and you've worked with all these banks. How is that informing what you're doing today, and why has this taken you to Coinsource? Because you're obviously someone with a lot of experience in the space, so I'm just asking, how did you get to this point?
That's really a good question. Before I came to Coinsource, actually, after my last company, I took about a year kind of surveying the landscape, seeing what was out there, what was available, seeing what the different projects. Mm-hmm. Having been in the space for so long, it gives me it makes it quite easy to kind of spot who I think is legitimate, who's going to do something. From not just an institutional perspective, if they're looking at that space, but from a consumer as someone who used crypto themselves, right? Yeah. I mean, there was a period in 2013 and 14, I literally lived pretty much on crypto, and it was really difficult at that time, right? So I can see two perspectives, and I think that brings, allows me to see things a bit differently than other companies or other people out there. But with Coinsource, after talking to so many different companies, they did something very different from the crypto space, as much as we don't want to admit it sometimes, is rather than do this, well, it's a gray area, people kind of operating in the gray area, and then if it becomes we have to do something, then we'll comply, right? Or Coinsource from the beginning wanted to be compliant. Yeah. They went through all the steps in the AML, KYC,
AML,
compliance. We've got 30 or so or more money transmitter licenses. We've got a bit license. We were the first Bitcoin ATM provider to have one. The ninth overall.
For New York.
For
of
New
course,
York,
yeah.
So
there's been a lot of complaint over the last 3 days about New York and bit licenses.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. But we did this, and in every country we go and talk with, we meet with the regulating bodies there.
Yeah,
we discuss. Cool. We want to make sure that we conform to what they want, because it's not about a lot of people, we're not trying to somehow conform and forget about our crypto roots in some ways, but it's a way of bringing it to the masses much more
But there's
easily.
also no reason of creating a product, setting it up, and then having it completely outlawed and banned, and kind of ruining it for everyone else by doing it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you go in and you work, again, I'm the same. I believe in those sort of crypto anarchist roots, but you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot and other people in the foot at the same time if you do it the wrong way.
Exactly.
So you've got to have the respect for these institutions that are in place sometimes.
Yeah, and I think everybody wants crypto to win long term, right?
Yeah.
But that goal of this fully decentralized, trustless future, I think we're still a bit of ways off on that. And I think along the way you've got to play, to kind of get momentum, to move forward, right?
You got to know when to play the games.
Exactly. Instead of kind of, just say you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot or ruin it for anybody else.
How did you live off crypto nearly completely for 2013, 2014?
Well,
was this a little experiment you set yourself? Or?
Yeah, I was getting, one of the companies I worked with actually was, I asked them could they pay me in crypto and Bitcoin at the time.
Wow, man,
now I wish I would actually have held on to much of that. Sometimes I go back and look at the old wallet and I'm like,
don't do it.
It's really depressing, but it's a bit of a challenge being able to do that. Some of it had to do with trying to find people to transact with, and then also, at times I would have to, just like how we talked about people using for mints and holding cash and pulling out when they need it. That was kind of like my Bitcoin as well, and then when I needed, I had to cash out some of my Bitcoin as well. So it was a kind of a mixture between the two, but it was nowhere near as easy as it is now.
Yeah, that's an interesting experience. Really cool. So the last question I just want to ask you, we ask everyone who comes on the show, when the clock strikes 12 at midnight this year, on New Year's Eve rather, what do you think the price of Bitcoin will be?
All right. So I am an avid trader, and I, kind of thinking about it. The price has kind of shot up quite a bit recently.
Yeah.
And we're still a bit ways out right now. I think that we're bound to have a correction because we kind of overshot maybe from a short squeeze of some sort. So it's kind of hard to say, without looking at the charts, and I usually look at them. I would say we're 6 months away from it.
And we're at about 8K right now, I think.
I would be surprised if we were still not within the 5 to 7K range.
Ooh.
Because I feel that it just depends on how that correction is going to go. We've shot up quite a bit. This isn't the first bubble, or this isn't really a bubble. This is kind of a correction on this that we've had. But prior bubbles, it's the same cycle over and over and over again. So it's a bit predictable. It's just that the time period seems to extend further and further now. So
interesting. I like your very analytical take on it. It was nice. It was refreshing. So thanks so much for coming onto the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you enjoy the last day.
Yeah, definitely. It's been great here, actually.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care.